Hello, everyone, and welcome to Baldos Gun Shop, the hunting and shooting sports podcast. I'm your host, Bob, and I put this podcast together to share some knowledge, tell old stories, and overall just shoot the shit about guns and hunting. Something that I really love to do. Since this is the first episode, I'm going to keep it very simple. Down the line, we're going to see what works, what don't. I want to see how far I can take this, really. I always wanted to do it because I was inspired by different podcasts like Joe Rogan and Kevin Smith. And I figured, why not do my own? I mean, I love talking about guns and hunting, and why not do a podcast about it? I'm sure down the line someone could take something from it and use it. If not, it's at least entertaining. Usually on the episodes, we're going to go through what's new in the hunting shooting world, whether it be new technology or actual headlines, depending on what we got that week. Other than that, usually profiling a classic cartridge or firearm. I'm going to throw some reloading information in there, depending on what episode. And usually end on a good hunting story or two, because who couldn't use one? They're always entertaining and some bragging board material. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I hope you enjoy the podcast, and I hope you subscribe. I mean, I don't want to end up talking to myself, you know? So this week our cartridge we're going to be profiling is the 222 Remington. It's a fine cartridge. It's one I highly enjoy. And I'm going to throw some information out there for you about it. It was developed by Mike Walker, the man who helped develop the famous Model 700 action for Remington. The round was initially introduced in the Remington Model 722 in 1950. It was the first of its kind, a non-rimmed varmint cartridge, which was unique at that point because every varmint cartridge available was a rimmed cartridge designed for a lever action rifle, such as the 22 Hornet, the 218B, the 2520 Winchester. It was also the moderate alternative for the higher velocity, longer range 220 Swift. The 222 was more accurate than the lever action design cartridges, and you could find a lot more fields applicable for the 222 than the Swift. The Swift you could take shots out to almost 600 yards, depending on the shooter. 222s you could take 200-300 yards, and you could take it anywhere. The Swift was a loud cartridge. You turned heads when you shot that one. 222 you could take anywhere. The huge popularity of the 222 in bench rest competition and in the woodchuck fields led to its wide use and eventual expansion of its family tree. The 222 was the base from which the 222 Rem Mag, the 223, the 17 Remington, the 221 Remington Fireball, and the 204 Ruger, and dozens of lesser-known cartridges and Wildcat rounds were based off of. Pardon me. The 222 was the number one bench rest competitive shooter cartridge for decades. Matter of fact, the man who designed it himself, Mike Walker, he won a couple competitions with the cartridge himself, and I believe his wife did as well. I don't have the information on hand, but I'm sure you can look it up. But as the cartridge was chugging along, hunters using it and everything going great, the 223, its half brother, I would say, would end up basically killing the cartridge. due in large part to the 223 being adopted for use by the U.S. military and their M16 rifles for the Vietnam War. You had everybody, when they left the service, they loved the cartridge. They wanted to shoot that, and there was large amounts of empty brass for hand loading, so it really trimmed down the fan base for the 222. It's still held. It's still today held fondly in the hearts of any old school varmint hunter worth his salt. I know my father swears by it. I swear by it. It's a hell of a lot better cartridge in my opinion than the 223. It's more accurate, and I don't know. 223's got a stigma in my eyes. People end up throwing it 223 around, and it seems like they want to play. They want to play Army. They get their ARs or whatever, and they just throw them around. Why not just find a nice cartridge and deal with it instead of playing with a gun? I don't know. There's plenty of factory ammunition out there still to this day for the cartridge, and even more hand loading options. A standard powder for the 222 being IMR 4198 with a 50 grain Spitzer bullet. I myself highly recommend the round for anyone that wants a good tried and true round for their next trip out to the woodchuck fields or even out to the bench rest. You won't be sorry, trust me. I own 5 of the rifles myself. I know it's scary to say. Now, figure throw a good hunting story out there for you. So it's going to be a shorter podcast today because testing things out, see how they go. So, tell you guys a good story about my first deer season. Now, when I was a kid, my dad always took me out hunting and always took me out woodchuck hunting, bird hunting with him. Never really caught on with me. Like, I shot a couple woodchucks. I was okay with it. But I didn't have that burning inside me. A good, dedicated hunter, they gotta love it. And at the time, I didn't really have it in me. You know, sometimes it don't. But my dad decided to take me out deer hunting. So I got my license, all that stuff. I threw hunting clothes together. He gave me his old deer shotgun, an old Ithaca Deer Slayer 12 gauge. He shot more deer with that damn gun. It's an amazing feeling when somebody hands you their gun, like something they've gone through snowstorms with, all the inclement weather. They've taken game with it. When any good hunter, when they have their gun, it becomes a part of them. It's almost like a child. You take care of it like in the field. You take care of it like it's your child. So when he gave me that, it blew me away. So got everything sighted in. We go up to my uncle's place. Night before deer season. We end up, I cooked dinner, and then we ended up going to sleep. My father, anybody who knew him, that man could snore. I don't know if it was the nerves or himself, his snoring, or a combination, but I could not sleep worth a damn that night. just itching to get out there. So my nerves worked up, and you know, it's a weird feeling. It was almost like I wouldn't say it's like Christmas Eve, but it's more intense than that. But that's the closest I can. That's the closest experience I have for it. So we'll go with that. But that morning, make a good breakfast. We get up, walk out to our stands. He even helped me pick up my stand. And this man, I swear, if he tells you to sit somewhere if he picks out a spot for you, go there. That man can smell the deer, it seems. I swear he's part Indian. But anyway, he leaves me in my stand. We say our, good luck and everything, and I settle in, get everything ready, load my gun. I load my gun. I'm trailing off here. I'm sorry, but it's just about. We got in there about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and pitch black. I can't see anything. So it starts getting lighter. I forgot what time it was, but all of a sudden I see in the, it's like a, not fog, but that early morning, there was some snow, and I'm bad at describing things, bear with me, but I see an animal coming up, and my heart is like pumping out of my chest, blood rushing, like you can't. The feeling of that twig break, or you see an a deer's ear move, something. Anytime you get any kind of sign that there's a deer, that feeling, like you could have the coldest day out in the field, you're sweating. It is intense. So I'm kind of freaking out at this point because shit. I'm a new guy out there. So what am I gonna do? He starts coming up. I get my gun up, put the scope on him. I'm watching him. Head down. Put it on him and pull the trigger. Drops. I'm ecstatic. I thought I shot a doe. My first deer, I thought, I couldn't believe it. It was insane. He's down. Deer's down. When I get up, no movement. I try. When I'm shooting, I learned this trick from my grandfather. By the time you put the crosshairs on the deer's leg as they're walking, and you follow the leg up, and by the time you get to the point, you try for the top of the leg. It hits like the shoulder, the lungs, the heart, that whole area. By the time you get there, you lose what hunters call buck fever. So I hit him. He dropped like a bag of bricks. I get over there. I see a rack. I couldn't believe it. My mind was blown. All of a sudden, because my father gave me a whistle, so kind of like a tradition. I don't know. I wouldn't say a tradition, but he always kept a whistle on him. My grandfather always did. It was like something when they hit that, in case they needed help. So it's kind of utility and tradition. So I'm blowing on this whistle. My father comes down. I tell him it's a buck. My father's not. I wouldn't say my father is a miserable man, but my father, you don't find him smiling very often. You know what I mean? Like he's not the openly happy person, like that you could tell right away is happy. Like He could be, but he's not gonna. He's reserved. He don't show his whole hand. When I saw his face, he had from ear to ear a grin. It's the biggest smile I've ever seen on his face. I don't. It was the best moment of my teenage years. It's I no matter until I have a son or son or daughter. Until I can take them out and have them shoot their first deer, I don't think I'll ever be able to describe or to feel that emotion again, like he did that morning. Oh, it was incredible. I could never ask for a better. It ended up being a nice 5-point buck. He helped me field dress it and drag it out, and he even slipped me, my first 2 beers. I mean, I was with my father. We're celebrating a good good day out in the field. Got our deer. So sue me if you don't like me underage drinking. But and the craziest thing, I was after the fact, it was the first hour of my first day, my first shot, my first buck, and my first season. That's got to be a record somewhere. I'd have to look, but you have to go a long way to beat that one again. So I think I'm gonna close out the podcast today. Figure, see how everyone likes this, and we can go from there. Might have a guest here and there, depending on the show we need. And maybe down the line, hopefully, a visual element, maybe turn it into a visual show, rather than just audio right now. But right now, I'm just recording on my not iPhone, my Galaxy S5. So, gotta start small and hopefully go from there, depending on if you guys like it. So, I do hope you guys like it. So, in closing, I hope you guys are hunting responsibly out there. If you're gonna shoot something, shoot it clean. Don't break laws. Do everything the right way. That's what hunting is all about. You go out in the field and just enjoy the hunt. You don't have to kill everything. I go out. There's days I go hunting and I couldn't be happier. I don't care if I have I don't have game in the bag or not. Just getting out in the woods and enjoying it, like a fall day out bird hunting. You get the nice leaves out there, walking through the woods, or going woodchuck hunting with good friends. It's like a mini road trip. You get to enjoy each other, enjoy the time out there. That's what hunting's about. Not, I gotta kill. That's what anti-hunters don't understand. Like, any good hunter, they're not, these bloodthirsty cretins that the media and the movies are media, but they're not these monsters that they make us out to be. More money is raised for nature and habitats and conservation of animals by hunters than any of these anti-hunting groups. All they do is sit and complain and try to make it hard for everybody else. So, and if you're going out there, take your family or friends. Teach them how to hunt. We need more good hunters out there. Teach them the right way, and you can't go wrong. So, with that, I'm gonna close it down for today. I hope you guys enjoy. I know I keep saying it, but sue me. It's my first my first podcast. So, hopefully the next one will be in the next week or two. See how schedules go and what I can put together for the next show. I'll go from there. So till then, this is your host Bob telling you have a good one and take care.